The second story is how to integrate the rest of your personality in this new identity. And only then you're whole. So you have to subsequently work on the level of the personality as well. And many people don't do that because it's too painful, too much effort, too, let's say, losing face, because you have been there and now you have to go back, to zero. Going to therapy like everybody else. I mean, that's not very good for your self-image, huh? Because you thought you're already universal guru, And then
well, maybe I could sum it up with my very short thing that my spiritual teacher used to say.
Yeah.
That when he's from India, so he said when you're spiritual master, but you could say in other words, when God, or your very inner being, thinks that you are ready to grow spiritually, you are sent 3 gifts to help you grow.
Yeah.
Poverty.
Yeah, exactly.
Disease.
Yeah, exactly.
Or shame.
Yeah.
Because they all cause deep introspection.
Yeah. Well, I can talk very shortly about also very concretely the disease I got, because was also part of my dark night of the soul. Through my experience, I became very sensitive. So, more or less, I could say, although as a boy I played in the forest always, I loved nature and plants and things like that. But then I was, of course, spoiled in later years when you have to become an intellectual. In my case, then and so on. But through my spiritual experiences, this sensitivity came back from my early childhood and more. Much more. So I saw for the first time this nice table and this carpet, with loving eyes, Everything was catched by my loving eye, so it became all equally dear to me. But you also become sensitive for energies which are not so nice. And in my case, that was electrosmog. The energies which are everywhere from handies and cellulars and these telephoning and computers and this and that. I became very sensitive to them. To an extent that I became totally sick. So I lived in a very nice house. We had a swimming pool in a very nice area of Holland. I had to get out of the place. Because there was radar and there was this and there were all kinds of things. And then my wife and I had to escape to an island in the Atlantic, in Madeira, part of Portugal. And we spent a year there to recover. In the meantime, we set up a health center for a German hotel, but they never have known that we were there also for our own recovery, It took a year. And then I went back to Europe. I got it again. And then I went to Brazil, escaping. It took us 5-6 years to overcome this sensibility and sensitivity. Fragility. For example, also, I thought you were to the other coast.
I was. I got back.
Okay. I can tell you one of my policies to be able to function in this world again. For example, I started eating badly again. Meat, which I didn't do before. To create a buffer towards this fragility. So life it can go very strangely. You would say, oh yeah, but you eat, of course, vegetarian, maybe veganistic, and so on. Makes me too vulnerable. So I eat meat. I have to. So you see, there is no law for everybody which is the same. You have to find your individual way.
The law is the same, but the path is different.
Exactly. The law is the same, the path is different. So, I'd like to share much more and answer your questions if you have. Yes.
I came a little late, but I was caught when you said that if you have a problem, you know how to solve it. I was going to say, well, how do you solve it?
No, I said by not solving it, I said.
No, you said you're not solving it, but you know you have the problem, but you know you're going to be able to solve it.
Yeah.
The tools or whatever.
Yeah, the tools, yeah.
So what are those tools?
The tools are, let's say, a 7-step policy in which you step by step integrate the emotions which were until then suppressed. That is just a technique. So first you say, if, for example, irritability comes up. Well, that is one of your stepchildren. You can be sure of that, or fear, or whatever. Then the first step is to say, this is not me. It's part of me, but it's not me. That means you disidentify from it. Because that is a heavy burden to say, I feel hatred. That's a heavy burden. Immediately all kinds of secondary emotions like guilt and shame and whatever pops up through that, you know. So by identifying with it, a whole process of all kinds of other steps automatically is the consequence of it. So you have to cut being dominated by these automatic reactions. So irritability comes up. You say, that's not me, that's a part of me. That's already a feeling of inner freedom. You can imagine? It's a part of me, not me. I'm something totally different. I'm not my hatred. My hatred is in me. I'm space. All my emotions, my thinking, my emotions, my images, my fears, my dreams are all in me. But in essence, I'm something else. Well, that was already a fantastic discovery. I mean, by doing this, is already creating freedom.